Hi friends, I hope you have a wonderful day, and this time I'm gonna be reacting to Super Sweetie, Ronnie Peterson. I hope I'm saying it right. Um, yeah, this was a suggestion, so yeah. Let's check it out.
I mean, Ronnie, he just had so much natural ability.
That would look so weird. So different.
I look up and inspired to his career and what he did.
Haven't heard of
Biggest
him.
blow there was not just that we lost a precious life, but for me, I lost a precious friend.
Flamboyant on the track, but unassuming off it, this was Ronnie Peterson. The quiet and shy Super Swede should have achieved far more than he did behind the wheel of a Formula 1 car. He only won 10 races in an F1 career spanning 8 years and never claimed a world championship. He is revered as one of the sport's greatest drivers for his unique and often sideways style of driving. 2018 marks 40 years since the Great Swede's death, after he was involved in a horrendous crash at the start of the 1978 Italian Grand Prix at Monza. Having survived the crash, but with terrible leg injuries, Peterson died the next day, owing to complications from surgery.
Oh no.
Autosport journalist Nigel Roebuck was at the race and witnessed the aftermath.
So it all happened in front of me, but of course, it was such bedlam. I mean, I couldn't for the life of me immediately afterwards say, oh, well, it was because so-and-so did this and so-and-so did that and all the rest of it. But I just went down to the pit lane, and everybody was out of their cars, except, strangely enough, Gilles Villeneuve, who never got out of his car the whole time. Never took his helmet off, never got out of his car, because he knew whatever it was wasn't good, and he just didn't want to know about it. It was a terrible scene. I mean, Ronnie was still on the track on a stretcher. He was plainly badly hurt. He plainly damaged his legs very bad.
Wait, this is the one where the one, no, but that guy did survive it. Like, he was out of the car, lying close. No? Probably that was a different one.
Badly, but he was conscious and he was talking. And initially the big fear was for Vittorio Brambilla, who'd had a serious belt on the head from something and was unconscious for a while. Ronnie, it was awful, but he didn't appear to be life-threatening in any way. And it must have been, I guess, the best part of 2 hours before the race was restarted. It was shortened to 40 laps. And then I remember going down to the motorhome, to the John Player, the Lotus motorhome. And there were only 3 or 4 people in there, one of whom was Mario, who, of course, had just become world champion. And I remember he was slumped in an armchair with a magnum of Moët et Chandon next to him, unopened. And it was the saddest thing in a way, because he couldn't celebrate. So we flew back to Heathrow, got off the aeroplane, we were waiting by the luggage carousel, and one of the Fleet Street guys went over to use one of the payphones, no mobiles of course then, to call his office, and he came back with this curious expression on his face, and he just said, "Ronnie's died." I remember I can hear that as if it was said a minute ago. That Ronnie's died. There was shock in his voice. And Mario that morning went to the hospital to see Ronnie, was met on the steps of the hospital by Emerson Fittipaldi, and he just had to take him on one side and say, "Mario, I don't know how to tell you this, but he's gone."
Oh my. heard of him, really. Did you tell something more?
His sideways style defied belief from the moment he began his F1 career aboard a March in 1970, but it was driving for Lotus between 1973 and 76 where he began to make his name. A single season back at March and then Tyrrell yielded little success, but it was a return to Lotus for what would be his final season, where arguably his greatest drives occurred. His teammate was Mario Andretti, who would go on to win the 78 World Championship in the tragic circumstances. Andretti remembers not only a teammate, but also a friend.
Arguably the best teammate, no question, the best teammate I ever had, along with my son Michael, you know, and the thing about that is, you know, you live through the season, and you know, we were friendly before we became teammates, but Ronnie was one of those individuals that you would gravitate to. You know, you had outside of the race car, and being open with one another, being honest. And our families, you know, used to spend time together. That's the other thing that would come, you know, when he come to the States, he would come up to my place, the lake, and we just raise hell and try to kill ourselves doing stuff and have fun. And so it's, and all the, you know, the pranks and everything else that we used to pull and everything, you know, gosh. So it was making a happy life for us, and all of a sudden we lost all that. And you know, it should have been the happiest day of my career. My life as a racing driver. Obviously, I couldn't celebrate because I lost, you know, my best friend at the time. And that loss is always there. You know, you never forget that, and there's always a reminder, you know, that comes around, that whether it's an anniversary like we were talking now, but it's always there.
He really sounded like a good guy.
Despite it being 4 decades since his death, Peterson's legacy lives on. Fellow Swede and F1 driver Marcus Ericsson even ran a replica helmet of Peterson's at Monaco in 2014.
Yeah, he's the biggest name in motorsport in Sweden that we ever had, and he's still a legend in Sweden. You know, he's one of the big sports persons that we've ever had in Sweden. So if you name like the big ones, we have Björn Borg, Ingemar Stenmark, and then Ronnie Peterson is up there, you know, with the top 3, top 5 biggest sports stars from Sweden all time. And I think for me growing up, because he died so many years before I was even born, I don't think I knew a lot about him growing up. But then the more I was out in Europe racing, the more I got to know about Ronnie and the history and you know, who he was as a driver, but also as a person. And then I got to know and meet his daughter Nina, and became a good friend of her. And then, you know, I just got more and more interested about Ronnie, and you know, inspired by his career and the way he came through, you know, and also the fact that he's from the same city as me in Sweden, you know, means a lot as well. So yeah, he's someone I really, yeah.
That's so crazy, really.
I look up and inspired to his career and what he did. I tried to sort of race for my country, obviously, but also race for Ronnie in a way. So, yeah, I think, I have that in the back of my mind.
So sweet.
Ericsson might not have seen him race, but those who did will never forget a driver on the absolute limit.
You could watch Ronnie going through the old woodcut all day long, you know, with the tail out, 165 miles an hour, lap after lap, absolutely on the edge, you know, just not quite spinning. That was really something, because you just watched that and you thought, in 1,000 years I couldn't do that.
Yeah, I kind of expected that they will like tell me more his upbringing and everything kind of about him. But yes, Sweetie. I don't know why I didn't think like that at the start. That's nice. Yeah. Sweden is, yeah, kind of close. So yeah, actually, I would love to learn more about him. So yeah. Thank you for suggestion, and yeah, probably should check other video, or maybe you can suggest me a specific one in my Discord server. Please do. If you know someone better than this video. And yeah, hopefully I'm gonna see you next time. Take care. Bye.